Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lori, and apparently it's Link too. I'm Link, that's not Link, that's Ezra. God, girl, know your cats. Yes, it's one of those days. Welcome back. I did get the new microphone. I just have to figure out how to use it and all that stuff. So it might still be a little echoey, but at least you get to see the guy, right? At least you get to see the guy. Come on, you can come say hello. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about your mindset, right? You hear me talking to you a lot about it. And when you look for something negative, you will find something negative. Now, when you look for something positive, are you really looking for something positive? Or are you looking at something positive with a cynical view, right? So yeah, okay, I guess that's what it is but you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And that's what you have to be really careful of. So your mindset is free. Now, is your mindset skewed by past traumas and your experiences and things that you've gone through? Yes. However, that's in the past. Yes, you want to work through it. Yes, you want to deal with it, but your mindset itself. And so this is where you see people who say, is the glass half empty or the half full? Listen, it's not black or white. So it can differentiate. And some days you can just have those days where you're just like, ugh, some days you're going to have those. And even when you're healed and you're in the best space that you've ever been in your entire life, you're still going to have those days that you're kind of like, you kind of throw a little mini pity party for yourself, but it's short-lived. You know what it is, you acknowledge it, and you keep it moving, right? So that's normal. But it's when you're constantly in that space of negativity. So I know a lot of you know, I am not a fan of going through somebody's stuff. As an adult, especially if you have a relationship, I am not ever going to co-sign for going through somebody's phone or things like that. But I'm going to tell you why I said that, why I prefaced it by saying that, is let's pretend, and I use this example a lot, let's pretend that your partner had sessions set up with me just to work on their stuff, but they didn't really want to talk to you about it and guess what? They don't need to. They don't have to say, I'm in coaching, I'm in therapy, I'm doing these things. They don't have to tell you that. So they don't, they omit that. And I have a session planned with them at noon and I'm running late, or I can't just make it at then, but I can make it at 2 if they can. And I, as a person who I am, I tell everybody I love them. I call everybody love and babe and hun. And I just do that because people say, well, how can you love me if you don't know me? Well, people hate people all day long and not know them. I choose the opposite, right? I choose to love people. So I always say babe and love and darling, doesn't matter who you are. So if I sent a message, a text message and said, hey babe, can't see you at noon today, running a little bit late. Is it possible that I could see you at 2 instead? Because it's all virtual, right? But I'm still gonna see you. And they go, sure, no problem, I'm available, right? I'm available, looking forward to our meeting, looking forward to seeing you. And I'm like, yes, looking forward to seeing you too, love. Okay, literally it's about a session. Well, you have walked by and you got a little nosy, which you don't do, and you look into their phone, okay? Which again, big red flag. If you're looking in somebody's stuff, it's not a place for you to be in it's not for you to be in that relationship because it's just not going to be good. And so, but you look in it and you now read this text message and you see that your partner has said this, there's some loves, there's some babes in there, and you lose your mind. You go, what is this? And then the person goes, what do you mean, what is this? Well, first of all, they're going to be really irate that you went through their stuff, period. And the whole adage of, well, if you are not doing something wrong, then what are you hiding? No, that's not a thing. That goes into your insecurity. You cannot do that under any circumstances, because when you do, you have to realize you're looking for that. So just because you had a past relationship issue and other things that have kind of happened that way, just because you've had that doesn't mean that you bring that and it's somebody else's responsibility to deal with that for you. So now you've asked them that, and now finally they go, fine, if you must know, I'm in coaching, I'm in therapy, I'm doing something to better myself. Now, are you even going to believe it? Are you even going to believe it? Well, you didn't tell me. Well, you don't need to know. This is where ego comes into play when you're dealing with your mindset. You don't need to know everything, and everybody doesn't need to tell you everything, because everybody needs their own space and everybody needs something that they are dealing with on their own. Everybody needs that. No one needs to know everybody's stuff. No one. So it's important because now, mindset-wise, you had already been some kind of space like, well, I hope that they don't cheat on me. I hope that they don't do that. You're already in a mindset of that. So you're going to look at something and you're going to see it from that negative perspective because that's what you're seeking. That's what you're seeking. If you hear a lawnmower, I can't do anything about it. But that is what you are seeking. You think you're not, but the reality is you are looking for that. You are looking for it, and believe me, what you will seek, you shall find, even if it's nothing to find. And now you have to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So now let's say you finally believe it. I don't know. They pull me up, you see all my stuff, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay. So now you go, oh my God, I'm really sorry. And then you get upset because they're like, I don't trust you. And you're like, well, I'm sorry. Now you start diverting, but I'm sorry. Like, oh my God, like, you know what I've been through in the past. Whoa, not their problem. So your mindset does versus, hey, you have to have that mindset that's going to allow you to be like, I am me and I'm going to be okay regardless. But if you're constantly looking for the negative, you will find the negative. So if you're looking for the positive, it can't be a nauseating type over the top, like, oh my God, today's just going to be a perfect day. Like, okay, let's notch that back too, right? And it's not toxic. You know, people say toxic positivity. Yeah, everything in extreme is toxic, but no, that's more like I'm convincing myself. That's not toxic positivity. That's you trying to convince yourself, okay, I'm going to look for something. Okay, today is going to be the day I look for something. But you're not really. You say that, but you're like on guard. You're waiting for that shoe to drop. You're waiting for that to transpire into something different. And then the moment it does, you go, this is why. This is why I can't think positive. Because look, this always happens. And you know, there's always and nevers and all those things. No, that's extreme thinking. And that's very distorted. It's cognitive distortion. So it's a distorted thought because your thoughts aren't facts. So in your perception, this is what you're seeing. So you have to be really careful of that, because when you're stuck in that distorted thinking, you're on that loop. And the reality is sometimes you don't want to get off of it. And sometimes people don't want to hear that. You go, what do you mean? Why would I want to think negative so much? It's been your go-to. It has been your go-to because that has served you in some way, shape, or form in the long term. It has served you. It really has in your mind. I mean, has it been great for your mental health? It hasn't, but it served you in a time that you didn't have any other skills and tools. So again, and honestly, you won't be going through somebody's stuff and you won't look for the negativities when you focus that you'll be okay. When you focus on you to know that you are enough and you will be okay, and you are absolutely without a doubt, even if something doesn't go as accordingly planned, you will be okay. You might get hurt, you might have to process things, you might have to feel it. But the rule of thumb is this: you have gone and been through and survived 100% of your bad days. Good, bad, or indifferent. You survived them. Sure, they might suck. You still survived them. Okay? Yeah, you might have battle wounds and scars. It's okay. So how do you shift that mindset? Well, you start to release the ego. Number one, you're going to have to start getting, you don't have to just do sessions with me. You can do them with me. You can do them with somebody, but you can't always do it on your own. Because when you do it on your own, you pick and choose what you want to do, right? So if you read 15 self-help books, 15 different podcasts, you like it and you start, but you'll incorporate the things that you want to incorporate that seem easy. And then the moment they don't become easy, you sort of shut down. And that's why, and believe me, everybody who goes through healing does that, because initially you're like, oh my God, like I don't know if I'm ready for this. And that's okay. But I just want you to be aware of what that process looks like. But you also have to understand that things just are. I mean, it sounds weird, but things aren't good or bad. That's how our bodies take it. I mean, we're human beings, so it's not like we're drones. We're not psychopaths. We have empathy. We have different things in our system and in our body. So you're going to feel those things. But remember, essentially, things are just things. Situations are just, it is what it is. Like it just isn't anything else. So when you can accept that and you can start saying, okay, just because this has happened in my past, I can now change this. And you don't actually need money for that, because it starts going into the mindset that you want to do, you want to feel better, you want to heal. That's free. That's all free, but it has to start here. You have to really be willing to say, am I willing to lose people? Because people aren't items, so you're not really losing them. So in other words, are you willing to distance in relationships? Are you willing to maybe not have those relationships? Are you willing to have people not really like what you're doing? Because you're healing yourself. People may not find that beneficial to them. Okay, so they may not like it. Are you willing to walk in your own truth? Are you willing to stand up for what it is that you believe in? Are you willing to not just conform to what everybody wants you to do. Are you willing to do that? Are you accepting of doing that? Because if you're worried about it, then you're not ready. That's the reality. If you're worried about, well, what if mom gets mad? What if I lose mom? Then you're not ready. But you have to ask yourself where that lies. And where does that start from? Your mindset.